Hey all, I'm the Hypothetical Nerd John, and welcome to Joy to the Nerds, where you can get quick spoiler-free recommendations for anime, video games, and other nerdy content of the sort. Today we're going to be talking about a Netflix original series where if you have a love for vampires and those who hunt them, you will surely love to watch. And today we'll be talking about Castlevania. The Castlevania Netflix series is based off of the video game series by the same name that has just pervaded pop culture. And overall, the show does a really good job of just bringing the general concept of this guy from this house that hunts the vampires is going to fight Dracula. The storyline isn't anything super crazy because it's effectively one of those yes, the humans and the church really messed up, so now Dracula's trying to kill everybody, and they have to count on the House of Belmont to take care of this problem because no one else really knows how to fight monsters and vampires all that well. But the thing about it in this situation is that the House of Belmont in this show isn't really there. Like, Trevor's the last one, and he's just kind of roaming around the countryside and all, doing his thing, drinking a bunch of alcohols, and being generally lonely. It's kind of sad at the beginning of the show because Trevor is very lonely. But as the show goes on, he grows a lot and meets some new people, and they go on their quest to stop Dracula. Before diving into more of those people that he meets, let's talk a little bit about the guy himself, Trevor Belmont. Trevor Belmont is a huge stewing ball of sass, wit, and just overall badassery, I guess is the way to say it. Because this man will stare down like 10 people surrounding him with swords and other various sundries pointed at him, and he will go, "Ahaha, I'm excommunicated from the church. I don't think you guys can take me there." And this guy's just making jokes because realistically, he kind of knows that if he really wanted to, he could probably beat them all up. But he just kind of goes with the flow and is a big jokester dude. He's hilarious and a bit rough around the edges. One of the other characters that he meets along the way is the foil to his roughness, and that is Saifa Belnades. Saifa is like a scholar-style character. She is extremely smart, and instead of using weapons and like big physical prowess to fight things, she is a mage. And as a mage, she uses magic instead. The primary kind of magic that she uses are typically fire and ice spells, but she has a lot of other different things. Other than her fighting style as a foil, she is the more proper and well-learned person to Trevor's not-so-smart brain. And it really shows. Saifa is a bit sassy at times, but she is wonderful, and I love Saifa. She's my favorite character. She makes so many jokes. Like, there's this one scene where... So, as a bit of context, the church isn't necessarily the most friendly entity in this show. They're not huge fans of the Belmonts who, save people, or the group of people that Saifa is part of because they spread knowledge, because that's a bad thing. But overall, Saifa has this one scene where stuff's going on, and she's talking about how her people don't get too well along with the church. And there's this big rumbling, and her immediate response to this big rumbling isn't, "Oh no, monsters." She just goes, "See? God hates me." And I don't know, that's the kind of comedy that I very much appreciate. Now, when it comes to the third of the dynamic duo, that is Alucard, who we're not really going to go too far into here, because with how the show is set up, the first season is this 4-episode intro, and you don't really know who Alucard is until the end of that intro. So all you're going to get right now is he is gorgeous. I love his fashion sense, and he's also a bit of a struggle. It's great. Him and Trevor have like this whole butting heads kind of thing going on, and it makes for good comedy. When it comes to the vehicle for this show, the beautiful animation, I can't think of very many, if any, shows that have animation as good as it is in this show. Like, the art in general, the people look so good, the sceneries look so good, but the animation, the action scenes are so fluid. You see people flying around, fighting, and doing these big magical attacks, and it just looks so good, and Another thing that I feel the show does really well are its villains, because it does that thing that a lot of shows do nowadays, where they humanize their villains, even though they're vampires. But they humanize their villains to where you can kind of understand their thought processes and see what's going on in their head. And while they don't really try to justify it like you see a lot of the times, they really don't sugarcoat the whole Dracula's trying to kill a bunch of humans, because no, that's not a good thing. Nonetheless, they show into the minds of their villains, and you get to see the different generals in Dracula's court and what they think, and the different people and what they do and why they're doing it, and like seeing how that intersects and how they clash with each other every now and then, and it just provides really cool context for what's going on in the story, and I really like that. And they have a good balance between, let's see the heroes, let's see the villains. And a lot of things I feel toe that line, but it can skew one way or the other. This one does it well. And finally, if you have played the Castlevania games, it has a lot of callbacks to them. Me personally, I haven't played very much of them. I've started a game or two here and there. I pretty much only played the GBA ones. There's so much that you can recognize, because you have the Belmonts and their things, and Sypha is a character in one of the games. They pay homage to the base thing, but turn it around, and they're like, oh, that's a different character. All of the characters, or most all of the main characters, are based off of the characters in at least one or two of the games of Castlevania. You got Trevor, you got Sypha, you got Alucard. They've all been characters here and there doing something that is either extremely similar or exactly pretty much what they do in the show. If you have watched the show, or if you do start it, let me know who your favorite character is. My favorite is Sypha Belnades because she is amazing. Overall, it's a great show, and I hope you enjoy it. And thanks for spending some time out of your busy day to hear me ramble on about something that I think is pretty rad. This has been the Hypothetical Nerd John, and be sure to follow me on my socials. And if you liked this video, give a like, subscribe, and hit the bell. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and come back to see us.